Those images, collapsed buildings, apparently widespread, power outages reported in several cities. First responders struggling to help those hurt and search for those who are trapped. Susanna De Silva is watching this breaking news for us from our Vancouver newsroom. And Susie, at this hour, what do we know?
Well, we know that it was a powerful earthquake that seems to have left devastation across wide swaths of Turkey and Syria. It's believed to be a 7.8 magnitude earthquake that also struck in the middle of the night. It was about 4:15 in the morning local time. People were at home asleep in their beds when the shaking began. It's believed it happened near the city of Gaziantep. It's a major city in the northern near the northern part of Syria. And witnesses say the earthquake lasted about a minute, and it was felt hundreds of kilometers away, as far away as Cairo. And it, of course, has been followed by a series of powerful aftershocks, one just 10 minutes after the main earthquake. And as the sun has begun to come up, people are getting a better sense of the scale of the devastation. Entire streets have been leveled. Entire buildings have been reduced to simply piles of rubble. They're blocking roads. In one area, rescuers were calling for silence as they tried to listen for people inside an 11-story building that completely came down. Other buildings are still standing, but not by much. And the death tolls now are slowly beginning to come in. Already in the hundreds. Hospitals are being overwhelmed as injured are being slowly rescued, but it is a challenging process. It will be a lengthy process because there are hundreds of buildings that have collapsed. In the province of Malatya alone, there are reports of more than 140 buildings, many of them, again, reduced to piles of rubble. And we are now seeing as well the desperate efforts by rescuers, by citizens, friends, family, everyone desperately digging, in some cases by hand, looking for any signs of life of friends or family who may be inside.
A tragedy unfolding, of course, in Turkey and, Susanna, across the border in Syria as well.
That's right. Officials there are calling some areas disastrous. A number of buildings there collapsed as well. And these are areas that have been ravaged by war for years. There are millions of Syrian refugees in that area who have been struggling because of the war, who are now dealing with the earthquake. They spoke to a doctor in one town who said he is fearful there could be hundreds of people killed just in that community alone. And complicating all of these efforts, there has been a winter storm in the area. There is cold, rain, snow in many parts, and that will only complicate what will be a very difficult and challenging process as they get a handle on the full scale of what's happened.
Susanna De Silva live in our Vancouver newsroom. Thank you.
Thank you.
So a tragedy of huge magnitude after an earthquake of huge magnitude. Let's check in now with seismologist John Cassidy. He is in Victoria. This was big and powerful. What can you tell us about the quake?
Yes, thanks, Ian. This was a huge earthquake at 7.8. As you mentioned, the strong shaking for about a minute in that area. When you get to earthquakes of this magnitude, you're looking at a very large fault that has ruptured or broken. So in this case, a minimum of 100-kilometer long fault zone or even 200 kilometers. So it's a very long region that's impacted by very, very strong shaking, and this earthquake, more than 15 million people experienced very strong to severe shaking.
We have heard reports, eyewitness reports, I guess, of the shaking lasting a long time, maybe up to a minute. But you know, the anecdotes sometimes can be wrong. What do you know about? We know it's powerful. What do you know about the length of the shaking from that original shock?
Yeah, that's actually probably quite accurate. It depends on the type of soil condition. If you're on rock or soft soil, the shaking will last longer. But the bigger an earthquake is, the longer the fault that breaks and the longer the shaking takes place. So for these little earthquakes that we feel around Victoria, Vancouver, or Ottawa, Montreal, every year, the magnitude 3s, we feel shaking for a couple of seconds. For a magnitude 8 earthquake, you're looking at a minute or more of strong shaking. And for the big magnitude 9 earthquakes, you're looking at 5 or even 6 minutes of strong shaking. So, that 1 minute of shaking is probably quite accurate.
Yeah, and now, rescuers have to be aware of the potential for aftershocks. John Cassidy, seismologist in Victoria, thank you very much for speaking with us.
Thank you. Thank you, Ian.